Alrighty guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at this week's shrine, and the new killer did just drop recently, guys, so I hope you're all having fun and enjoying the Death Slinger. If you want to see more about the Death Slinger, we have got some educational videos showing you how to build him, how to play him, etc. So make sure you check those out as well. Jumping straight into the shrine, guys, we're looking at Save the Best for Last, which is a Michael Myers teachable perk, I believe at level 35, as Play With Your Food is 40. We've got a perk called Stakeout, which is also a fantastic perk unlocked by Detective Tap. We have Tenacity, which is a decent perk unlocked by Tap. And then we have Unnerving Presence, which is a Trapper teachable perk. Now, if I was a killer main, there's only one option on the table right now, that is Save the Best for Last. And if I was a survivor main, these two are okay options. This one if you're going to be playing Bill with Unbreakable. This one if you're really struggling to land your skill checks. Now, let's talk about the perks so far. So Save the Best for Last. What does it do? So you have you have 8 tokens as a max, and you start with 0 tokens. Whenever you M1 a survivor, therefore mouse 1, which is left click, excuse me, or just attacking a survivor without using any special ability, you get a stack. One stack gives you 5% cooldown reduction on how quickly you recover after hurting a survivor. So you will wipe the blade on your arm or whatever your animation is, you'll do it 5% quicker. You get a total of 8 stacks for hitting 8 different survivors, and you'll wipe and recover 40% quicker. Now that might not seem very great for the untrained eye, but that is very, very good, especially on killers like Demogorgon that can M1 and then activate Shred and dash at 420% movement speed the distance. So it can be very strong. Save the Best for Last does have a penalty though. It only works for as long as the obsession is alive. When your obsession is dead, you can no longer lose or gain stacks. So that means if I had 8 stacks and I killed my obsession because I grabbed him out of a bear trap, I will have 8 stacks for the rest of the trial. If I have 0 stacks and I kill my obsession, I have an empty perk for the rest of the trial. If you hit your obsession with an M1, you lose 4, 3, and 2 stacks depending on whether the perk is tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3. Now, that is devastating when survivors know that you're trying to preserve stacks. That's why this perk is absolutely god tier on 2 killers in particular. On the Demogorgon, or as we call him, Gordon, and the pig, Amanda. Both of these killers can activate their abilities and deny losing stacks or gaining stacks. What does this mean? Well, the Demogorgon can open his face and become a flower and use a Shred. Because a Shred does not apply on-hit effects, therefore it won't apply Sloppy Butcher, it won't apply Third Seal, so blindness, it won't apply any negative penalty if you do it through a Shred. Much like the pig's ambush, when she crouches and she goes for an ambush, on-hit effects like Sloppy Butcher will not apply. Therefore, Save the Best for Last will not build stacks, but it will not lose stacks. So you can down the obsession really quickly and easily using this technique if you're a Demogorgon. It's a bit harder to do on the pig, but still very beneficial. You see a lot of pig mains run Save the Best for Last because they know how to utilize that, and the 40% recovery can be devastating, especially if people are going to go for hook trading, go for a save in the basement. You can get a lot of hits off real quick, and you don't need 8 stacks. 8 stacks is its best effect. You can notice dramatically at 3 or 4 stacks. Note, if you M1 a survivor, you recover on your stacks prior to what you had. If I have 1 stack and I M1 Jeff, I now have 2 stacks. I recover as if I had 1 stack. Next I hit 2, therefore I recover. I'll get a third, but you'll always recover 1 below. Much like if I hit Jeff and Jeff's the obsession. I have 8 stacks. I hit Jeff, I should be losing 2 tokens. I will recover at the speed of losing at 8 stacks, and then I'll down him. So I'll have 6 stacks for the next recovery, but you always recover at what you are prior to that before. Bit complicated to understand, I know. I probably butchered the explanation, but I hope somebody gets it in the comments section below. Alright, so let's move on to the next one. Would I recommend this perk? Yes, it is a DLC perk unlocked by Michael Myers, and if you don't own the DLC, it's a great perk for some of the basic killers, such as, I wouldn't recommend it on the Nurse, and I wouldn't recommend it on the Huntress, but you could run it on the Trapper, you could run it on Billy, wouldn't recommend it on him, and you could run it on the Wraith. It's not a bad option, right? Especially if you're lacking perks right now. It could give you a lot of pressure and a lot less time recovering. Stakeout. Now, Stakeout is a good perk if you want to learn how to land skill checks. Now, this token is actually pretty good. So it starts with 2 tokens. At tier 2, it's 3 tokens. At tier 3, it's 4 tokens. Whenever you're within the killer's heartbeat and you're not in chase, every 15 seconds you receive a token. This means whenever you land a good skill check, the game will render it as a great skill check. Now, a Jenny takes 80 seconds to do, and if you land a great, you cut 2 seconds off a Jenny. So if you're landing goods with Stakeout, you're going to be cutting 2 seconds off. If you land a great and you still have Stakeout, it'll preserve a stack of Stakeout and won't consume it. I used to run it quite often to teach me how to land my greats. I'm still a bit of a banana now and then. I do like this perk. Even though I haven't got it unlocked, I do really like this perk. I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty different. It can be easily used from both a inexperienced player to an experienced player. I haven't unlocked it on tap just yet, but I can still tell you it's a pretty fun perk when you're trying to learn the game a bit more. Speaking about the next perk, also unlocked by Detective Tap, it is unlocked at level 30. It is Tenacity. This is unlocked at level 40, and at level 35 is unlocked Detective's Hunch. Alright, Tenacity. It allows you to recover 30, 40, and 50% faster. It allows you to crawl and recover, and allows you to move 50% quicker. So you're recovering from dying state 50% faster. You're now crawling while recovering. So this is actually a really good perk if the killer chooses to slug. It goes hand in hand with perks like Decisive Strike alongside Unbreakable. Unbreakable does stack, so you'll recover 70% quicker while crawling around on the ground. You'll only be moving 50% faster, but it's actually a pretty good perk. It can be used unlimited times in the trial. The only negative is the killer needs to slug you. Works really well with a perk called Flip Flop, which is a teachable unlocked at level 30 by Ashley as well, which allows you, depending on how much you've recovered on the ground, your wiggle bar starts 50% of that. And if you've recovered all the way, you can only wiggle off in like 6 seconds when the killer picks you up. And if he doesn't know you have it, and then he tries to drop you because somebody ran out in front, you're pretty much going to wiggle off straight away. So it can actually be pretty decent if the killer leaves you on the ground for whatever reason, if it's teammates nearby, if he's regressing a generator with a kick, if he's trying to use his pop, gives you time to crawl into a bush, keep crawling, keep recovering. It can be decent. I don't think it's the best perk in the game, but I can see it being fun for people to utilize, especially with the new Saboteur rework, with Savoing taking 2.5 seconds to break a hook. Now, the next and final perk is Unnerving Presence. This is a bit of a wet blanket perk, right? It gives a survivor a higher chance of proccing a skill check. So if they land a great, they're going to get the objectives done faster. Just want to point that out. The only time Unnerving Presence is really a necessity or a great perk, necessity isn't even the best word. It works really well with Overcharge. Therefore, Overcharge has the smallest skill check in the game. It also works well on a reverse skill check Doctor. I personally would not run this perk. It also makes skill checks, I think it's 40, 45, and 50% smaller, but that's the good bit, not the great bit. The great bit always stays that size, unless it's overwhelming, because Overcharge, because Overcharge is only a great, then it shrinks. So, it's not a bad perk. I personally wouldn't recommend unlocking it. You get it level 30 on the Trapper anyway, so 800k blood points into the Trapper, and you'll pretty much unlock it. I wouldn't recommend wasting my shards on it. That being said, if we're going to have a look here, Save the Best for Last would be great. If you're a killer main, I'm not going to lie, it's going to take a bit of time to understand how it works effectively. When you see it actually work in one of your games, you'll be like, wow, I want to try and get this to work more often. And Stakeout for a survivor that's trying to learn the game and trying to land the skill checks. Therefore, you don't need to buy Detective Tap's. You don't have to buy him because you've got 2 of his teachables on the shrine if you chose to buy them both. Wouldn't recommend Tenacity. It's a bit of a fun perk. I wouldn't highly recommend it, but I can recommend this for somebody trying to get better at skill checks, and this for somebody who wants to apply pressure faster as killer and understand the recovery speeds of the game and how much 5% can really affect the game, even 4%. So yeah, guys. Thank you all for watching the Shrine. I will be posting next week's Shrine, hopefully on time as well. I will also be looking at uploading more of the new Survivor and Killer content to YouTube, so stay tuned for that as well, guys. But thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I will be streaming DBD 5 days a week over at Twitch, where you guys can pop in and see my live streams. I got over 8,000 hours of the game as a Killer main. We're currently playing Killer right now for the beautiful people of Twitch chat that I'm currently looking at. And if you guys want to pop in and help these guys learn something, or if you want to learn something yourself, you know where we are. So guys, take care, God bless, and I will see you in the fog.